little candy canes. Welcome back, everyone. And as always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. We are going to get into it. We are going to recap the Real Housewives of Dubai, episode 1 through 7. Basically, just catch up on everything and just gossip and gab and see what comes up and what we want to chat about. So before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like this channel, and share, because a kiki is always better with community. All right, so with that, let's dive into talking about the girls. So there's Chanel Iman. We all know her. She's like the model. There's Lisa. She's like the mommy boss. There's Carolyn Stanberry. Hey, Vaca, what's up? That's right, you guys. As you come in, be sure to say hi, drop your candy canes, and just say hello, show some love. Let's get into it and drop your questions in your comments, because this is just an open discussion about the Real Housewives of Dubai. And trust me, I have some thoughts. I got some thoughts. Vaca says, I'm loving Dubai too. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It's so good. Okay, so we have all the girls. Let's kick off with Chanel Iman. What are my thoughts on her? I know she's like a fan favorite and like a cast favorite sometimes, except for when it comes to Brooke and Caroline Stanberry. So the two Carolines don't really mess with her. I'm the same. I'm on Chanel. I'm not a fan. Like, I don't get the hype. I don't get it. Like, sure, she's beautiful. Sure, she's great. But I think a lot of her, when she says, like, I love myself. I love myself. I'm so amazing. I'm so beautiful. It's two things. One, it's toxic positivity. Like, there is a thing where affirming and speaking all this about yourself is toxic. It's too much. And I think she's on that side of it. And then I also think it's fake. I think that she has a lot of insecurities, and I don't think she has a really great self-esteem. So I think she's spouting out, oh, I love myself. I'm amazing. I can say I'm the baddest in 5 different languages, but it's not authentic. Like, she feels empty. She feels not worthy. Like, when someone truly loves themselves, they're truly secure in who they are, and they're good. For as much as people hate on Sarah, Sarah has that. Sarah has that peace, that stillness, where she doesn't, you know what I mean? We'll get into Sarah versus Brooks in a bit, but I don't know. Chanel, to me, and she gets very, what's the word? She gets very bothered, and she gets very triggered by other women that she thinks are beautiful or doing their own thing. She got bothered by Sarah when Sarah was doing her, United Nations Women of the World stuff. She got bothered by Karen Stanberry because Stanberry wasn't really messing with her. She just seems really insecure to me, if that makes sense. Vaca says, Chanel is amazing in confessionals, but I need her to bring the same energy in person and not behind the back. Exactly. She has all the energy in the confessionals, but in person with everybody else, she's always just like crying or being weird or doing something nuts. But I will say this in Chanel's defense, Carolyn Stanberry was on one, because her dress was not a wedding dress. Her dress was not a wedding dress at the engagement party. She was wearing like a bikini underneath it and all that stuff, and she just had the white or the blonde wig, but she was not wearing a veil. I think Stanberry was looking for something to be irritated with Chanel about, so she found one. I don't think that she was actually wearing a wedding dress. And I'm going to get to Caroline and Sergio, because I have my thoughts. I'm going to be as respectful as possible, but I have my thoughts on them. Hey, Vaca says, yes, Sarah is cool, and the Jamaican girl. I agree. Those are my two favorites too. Lisa and Sarah are my two favorites. I like rock with them. I would want to hang out with them. They seem super cool. Love the two of them. Exactly. So yeah, I don't get the Chanel hype. I mean, I don't get it. I don't think she brings all of this energy. I don't know. I just don't get it. I think it's very fake. I think she needs a lot of therapy. So let's talk about Stansberry and Sergio. Or do you want to talk about Caroline Brooks and Sarah and the parenting drama first? Drop it in the chat box what you want to talk about first. Vaca says, oh, Sergio is definitely Stanberry Kate Bassity. So let's get okay. So we'll do Sergio and Caroline first. What I think about them is, and again, this is respectful, no shade to LGBTQIA communities. However, it does come across as the vibe I get from Sergio is that he wants to be Caroline, not so much that he is in romantic love with Caroline, if that makes sense. It seems like he really wants the fame, he wants the money, he wants the lifestyle, but I don't know, there's just something there that doesn't seem right. It doesn't, I don't know, there's something that doesn't seem right. It doesn't click, it doesn't seem right. The fact that his parents were like, do you need more money, we'll give you money, you don't have to marry this woman for money and all this stuff. And Caroline was all in her, Stanberry was all in her feelings because his parents were like, we'll pay you, we'll give you money. And I didn't realize that Sergio didn't have a lot of money because I thought he was like a soccer player or a footballer, I thought that they made a lot of money, but then again, you can never count anybody's bank account, right? You could make a lot of money, lose a lot of money, not, I don't know what the deal is. I just assumed he had a lot of money, but based on this past episode, it seems like he doesn't. Seems like she has the most money. If his parents are saying, if you need money, I will give you money, you don't have to marry this 46-year-old woman if you don't want to. And that is not age shaming. That is no shade. I'm just saying what happened. And again, it really just feels like Sergio wants to be Caroline, not so much that this is a romantic love. He doesn't seem like a husband. He seems like a friend that really wants to wants your shine, that wants your life. Like he's the only, and I know husbands do come into the confessionals, but I haven't seen any of the Dubai husbands in the confessionals other than him. And she was like sitting on his lap, and it was very awkward and very forced. And he's he's basically, and I'm gonna say this, and I say this respectfully, he seems like one of the girls, and I'm saying that in a respectful way because he wanted to go, he like hangs out with them, he's a part of the gossip. He was at the hen party, which is basically like the bachelorette party. Like he was there. Like I've never seen a guy be at the girls bachelorette party unless it's like a dual bachelorette party, but it was her bachelorette party, not a joint one. Like where are his friends? That's also suspect. Like who are Sergio's friends? We haven't seen him. What is his job? What does Sergio do? Like those are the things that I'm questioning. What does Sergio do? I know he was a footballer, but I don't think he's playing anymore. Where are his friends? Did he have his own bachelor party, or did he just join Caroline's bachelorette party? And he just seems to me like he's like Caroline's ultimate fan, and he wants to be Caroline, not so much that he's in love with her. But stop harping on that for now. What else? Yeah, and what does Sergio do, you guys? What's his job? Well, okay, so Vaca says Brooks is my least favorite. Brooks? Sorry, guys. Brooks is my least favorite too. Let's talk about Brooks versus Sarah. I personally, in this situation, I'm team Sarah. I'm team Sarah. I know people are like, oh, you can't tell someone how to raise their child. She didn't. This is what happened. Vaca. That's funny. So this is what happened. I think Brooks, in general, and then in particular. So in general, I do think Brooks is fronting. Just like Sarah said at the end of the episode, she's like, can you drop this facade you're having and actually bring out the real person? I do think that Brooks has been putting a big front, a big facade on. And I think she was doing that a lot when she was interacting with her child, Adam. Like even when she was getting her hair done and Adam was there, she's like, so Adam, I know that I brought you to public school, but public school is like private school in the US. And I know that other kids have, a private driver, we have a private driver, but I wanted you to go on the bus so you could be relatable. It was just this whole scripted, weird thing. And she brought up the fact that he was being bullied. He seemed really uncomfortable. That to me seemed really weird and very like fronting. And then at the dinner with like the whole oh, I will chop up your chicken for you, Adam. And then she tells the nanny or the maid, oh, can you do it for him? And then, oh, Adam, don't do that. Don't. It seemed very forced and fake and phony and rehearsed and very fronting. So I think that Brooks has been fronting a lot. And I think she was really fronting with the whole thing with her child. It was really bizarre and really, really weird. And then when Adam goes to bed and Sarah's like, "Oh, you're not going to put him in?" She's like, "No, I'm okay. Like the nanny can do it." And so it's like you're putting up this front, like you're so disconnected from your child. You can't even, cut his chicken. You have no interest in putting him to bed. You're making him go on a bus where he's being bullied because you want him to be like normal because we have so much money. I just want him to have like a semblance of being normal. It's like, girl, bye. Like, miss me with all of this stuff. And then she brings up the whole like boarding school. Well, his dad went to boarding school and he's been on the waiting list since he was 3. And it's just like, girl, stop with all this BS. Like, stop with all this fronting. Stop with all this smoke and mirrors. And then at the dinner, Miss Brooks, you brought up boarding school. You asked Sarah what her opinion was about your child going to boarding school. So number one, you did ask her for her advice. And that is a part of parenting. And Sarah gave you an answer. Maybe you didn't like the answer, but you asked her. Secondly, when Sarah was then going to talk about more like the affectionate and being closer, Sarah got the buy-in. She said, I forgot exactly what she said, but she was like, hey, like, can I say, like, I've noticed something. Can I say it? Is it okay? Will you receive it? She said something along those lines, but she asked Brooks first, hey, I have a comment about this. Is it cool if I ask you? Which I think is really mature. And Brooks was like, yeah, go ahead. If you don't want someone to give you advice on your parenting, A, don't ask for it, and B, don't consent to it. Because Sarah asked you if it was okay, and you said yes. Hey, everybody. Hey, Foxy Counselor. She goes, exactly. Now he's going to boarding school. Like what? Yeah, she's been fronting the whole time. Hey, Sharon. She goes, hey, Candy, the Candy Cans, and everyone. Hey, sweetheart. How are you? That's right, you guys. We're doing it. Drop your candy canes. All right. So let's get back into it. So, Brooks, you're all the way wrong. I get it. I don't have children, but I understand parents. Where to the point of don't tell me how to parent my child. I get that. But Brooks, you asked for it and then you consented to it. Yes, we back. Yes. Hey, Miss T. What's up, sweetheart? Yes, we back. Yes, we're back. And so then Sarah said something to Brooks that triggered her and that she didn't like. And what Sarah said was, it seems like you need to be closer to your kid. And she even said, I don't even really know Adam like that, your child, but what it seems like. And this is the thing. Did you guys catch? There's a couple of things that went on. Did you guys catch that Brooks's friends, I forgot their names, are like Adam and they're like Brian and Mike or something like that. Anyway, her 2 friends, they were like, that's not even, when she was like, my mother was very militant and all this stuff. They were like, that's not true, because they all grew up together and they were like, that's not true. The house was very loving. And then Brooks was like, you don't know what happened in that house. Like she went all psycho or whatever. So it's like, I'm confused, Brooks. You put up this front where you're saying, I'm making my son go on a school bus where he doesn't have to be on, where I know he's being bullied. 2, I'm too disconnected to cut his chicken. I could care less about putting him into bed. And I want to send him off to boarding school. And then I'm going to chastise him in front of everybody, in front of the camera crew, because he's just literally being a kid and eating his dinner like a kid would. So you want to do all of those things? fronting, because I actually bet behind the scenes, I bet you she is a lot more affectionate. I bet you she is very different. Because to me, it seems like she was fronting for the camera, thinking this is how a certain type of person treats their children, which is why she wanted to do the whole boarding school thing. I think in her mind, she thought this is how certain people treat their kids, almost like a weird stereotype. So that's what she was trying to front to do. And then when she got called out on it, she didn't like it. But if that's how you're acting, and honestly, I don't think Sarah said anything wrong. She was just like, it seems like you need to be closer to him. You're chastising him. You don't even want to, you like, hello. And then when she's talking about, oh, my mom was so militant, and the brothers, the friends were like, no, that wasn't it. And then she flipped out on them, like, and she completely disrespected and went psycho on her friends. Like, I would never speak to anyone that way, let alone my friends. And B, I would never allow anyone, let alone my friends, to speak to me that way. Ever. She was way out of line, way out of pocket. And it's one of those things where it's just like, if you're not prepared for an answer, don't co-sign someone saying something to you, and don't ask the question. You asked the question, she gave you an answer. You just didn't like the answer. It's crazy. And is it just me, or did Brooks and the whole Phaedra thing seem really forced and staged? Like, oh, this is my cousin, and now here's Phaedra. And it was very shady. Oh, Phaedra and my cousin just do business in Dubai. What? Like, where did that come from? Is Phaedra joining Dubai? Like, I'm confused. It seemed really off to me. And then when Brooks, and then I'm going to get off of Brooks in a little bit, but right now I'm not, because I'm fired up about Brooks right now. I'm fired up. So then in this episode, Brooks then does what every mean girl does. She gets on the phone, and she only gives a very skewed, one-sided rendition of what happened. She called Lisa. She called what's her face? She called Nina. I'm sure she called everybody else. Maybe not Chanel, because they're like fake friends or whatever the situation is. She calls everyone to get them on her side. It was very manipulative, and it was very pre-planned. So she calls everyone to be like, oh my God, me and Sarah had this big fight. Guess what Sarah said? Da, 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 da. Trying to get all of them basically against Sarah on her side, but not telling the full story. I didn't ask her. Yes, but you did. You asked her about boarding school, and then she asked you if she could say something else, and you said yes. So you did co-sign it. You did ask for it. And so she went trying to systematically get everybody on her side, preemptively, right? But then Sarah, because after her friend Nina's like, yo, girl, this is what was said, basically texts everybody in the WhatsApp group, putting it on blast, saying what her side was and what happened. And then Brooks lost her mind, got all in her feelings, and tries to go off on Nina, who is like grieving the fact that her father is super sick, and goes off on her. And it's just like, Brooks, you're going off on Nina because you need someone to now blame, because you no longer look like the victim in the situation. Your plan blew up in your face. You thought that you could go off on Sarah, then you could go around and tell everybody a one-sided story, and then you would be the victim and everybody would be mad at Sarah. But Sarah got ahead of you, and it's just like, listen, this is what happened. This is what's up. Sorry, guys. Woo. This is what happened. This is what's up, right? And it blew up in your face, because now everybody sees what happened, and now everybody sees what was said. She was dead wrong to go after Nina. Dead wrong. Nina didn't do anything different than what Brooks did. Brooks had a conversation with Sarah. Brooks took that conversation and spread it. Brooks had a conversation with Nina. Nina took that conversation and took it to Sarah. Why are you mad at Nina? And then she's like, I trusted you. You also trusted everybody else in the group because you were on camera calling everybody, talking about it. So it wasn't like you confided in Nina and Nina broke your confidence. You were calling all of the women on the cast. You weren't confiding. You were gossiping to get people on your side because you wanted people to go against Sarah. That's what happened. And I think that Brooks is just fronting. I think she's covering a lot. I don't think she's being her authentic self. And I think that what Sarah said was triggering. And I get it. I mean, I get it. It is triggering for anyone to tell you something about how you are, how you be, that you are not ready to receive. Of course, you're going to get defensive. Of course, you're going to, go off the deep end. But if you're not in a place to receive feedback, don't ask for feedback and don't accept feedback. And you see what I'm saying? Okay, what you guys are saying. Miss D says, who talks to their friends like that? Exactly. Miss D says, Brooke doesn't seem close to her son. No, she doesn't. Wanting to ship him off to boarding school and all this stuff. The thing is, I don't know if Brooks was fronting for the cameras with the being distant with her son thing. Like, oh, can you do this chicken for him? Or I can't be bothered to put him to bed. Like, I don't know if that's how she really is with him or if she was fronting for the cameras, thinking that's how people with money treat their kids. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. Baka says Brooks needs to be careful acting like that in Dubai. Miss T says they are brothers. Miss T says, where's her ex-husband or the father of her son? Exactly. Where is he? I guess she said that, I don't know. Didn't she say that she ended up not getting any money from the father? Because I believe, was she married to the father and then she ended up not getting anything from him, but then she was dating some guy who cheated on her and somehow she said she had some like cheating clause. But I'm like, if you're not married, what's the paperwork? Because she was like, cheating on me is expensive or some crap she said. So I'm kind of like, we have girlfriend contracts. Because if we have girlfriend contracts, I need one. Like, I will sign me up if there's a girlfriend contract. But so that was really confusing. Like, she said she dated a guy who cheated on her, and then so she got money because he cheated, but they weren't married. So I don't know how that works. But if we're doing girlfriend contracts, send one my way. Okay, Vaka says, and she wouldn't be there fronting if it weren't for that man. Exactly. Hey, Foxy Counselor, right, as in certain class of people. Yes, I think that's exactly what I think she is. I think she was putting on a front. I think she thought, this is how people with money treat their children. And so she was fronting, and it came across very, very poorly. And I think that was probably the first time Sarah ever saw, because these women aren't really friends. I think there's like a couple of them, but you know what I mean? I think this was the first time Sarah ever saw Brooks interact with her son. And so based on that interaction, she was just like, what the heck? Because I'm sorry, if I was at a dinner and an acquaintance of mine or a so-called, co-star friend was treating their child that way, I mean, I wouldn't say anything, but I would have thought and felt exactly what Sarah thought and felt. But since Brooks opened the door for Sarah to give her opinion because she asked for it, then she gave her opinion. Hey, Miss T, Brooke is very rude too to the lady who works for. Yeah, she was extremely rude, very dismissive. And again, I'm like, are you playing a role? Like, are you playing a role that you think this is how people treat the help or the kids, right? Hey, Vaka, if you speak to me that way, that's the last time you will speak. 100%. Miss T, Phaedra was very forced. I don't care what she's looking for a house. Looking for a house. Exactly. Phaedra was very forced. And Brooks seemed like a fan. Oh my God, hi. And I'm like, aren't you guys on this, like, different city, but same franchise? Like, why are you a fan? Confused. Fox accounts are no connection. Yep. Miss T, I'm fired up about Sarah. Vaka, oh, very forced. Yep. First of all, Faye is not doing anything called business, not fraudulent Faye. Are you guys watching her on Ultimate Girls Trip? How she's like giving nothing except for just like listening and like with her prayer cloths. Anyway, Miss T, Caroline also tried to tell her the truth about board school. Exactly. You asked the question because again, and then on Watch What Happens Live, Brooks was like, "Oh, he's not going to boarding school anymore." Right, because you were only I think you were only saying that because you were fronting for the cameras, and B, it's not a good look. There's a lot of no shade to boarding schools, but there's a lot that happens there. Miss T, they better address it at the reunion. Yep. They're going to have to. Miss T, wait, who cheated on Brooks? I thought it was the ex-husband. No, so Brooks said, if you watch her on Watch What Happens Live, because there was confusion about which ex she was talking about. On Watch What Happens Live, she said that her husband, who I believe is Adam's father, when they divorced, she got screwed and she didn't get any money or whatever. And that's why she kept saying, I had to start over in Dubai. I had to like start over. I built this stuff and blah, 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 blah. So she said that she got no money from being married to the husband, right? But then she was dating another guy after that. And that guy cheated on her. And somehow she had, I don't know if it was like a girlfriend contract or I don't know what the heck it was. But somehow she was like, yeah, cheating on me is expensive. You know, I learned my lesson the first time. So alluding to the fact that because he cheated on her, that like he had to pay her money or something like that. And that's why I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute, you got nothing from your husband, but the man you're not married to paid you after cheating on you? What is really real? Because none of that makes sense. None of that makes sense. So like, what's the truth? You know what I mean? Like, if your boyfriend cheats on you and he has to pay, that has to be a contract. Is that a law in Dubai? And I'm not being shady. I don't know. But like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Miss T, no, Candy, you are not Cynthia. Miss T, wait, how do you feel about Sarah and the way she looks down on the others? Oh, okay. So this might be an unpopular opinion, but I really like Sarah. And I actually don't think that I actually don't think that she looks down on the others. I think that's just her personality. I think that happens a lot with people who, because she talks about her journey, you know, how she had her own trauma growing up. She had her own stuff and she's done a lot of work. I think a lot of people that are kind of in that sort of spirituality, in that sort of like new agey world, I think sometimes when they talk to people, it can come across as preachy or can come across as talking down. I think she's actually trying to connect. I think her intention is like, oh no, like you're telling me something that happened. Well, this happened to me and I did this. So like maybe you could do that. And she's trying, like, I think she's actually trying to connect. I don't think she's talking down to anybody. I think that's the way they receive it. But I don't think that's actually the way she gives it. I actually really like Sarah, and I actually think that she gives really good advice. But I think that if you're not in a place to receive it, or if you're not in a place where you are so solid on who you are and how you are, regardless of what it looks like, that someone can say something to you that you don't internalize it. Like Chanel Iman is not in that place. To me, Chanel Iman is very insecure, doesn't actually love herself, and has a lot of trauma that she needs to work through. And so I think that she gets bothered and triggered a lot, basically by anybody who's not Lisa. So I actually really like Sarah. And I don't think she's talking down to people. I think that she is talking to them. Miss T, Brooks Biggs are also bothering. Not the units, child. Not the units. Miss T, Phaedra's turned into Mother Teresa. Exactly. I was like, hey, Faye, if you don't stop fronting with these white people, get out of here, girl. Miss T, Phaedra has turned into Mother Teresa on the girls' trip, but she missed an opportunity to tell her side of the story. Exactly, because she shut down. Remember when Vicky was like, oh, what happened when you moved? She shut it down. Oh, that was just BS. That was BS. You guys didn't see everything. No, I think we saw everything, Phaedra. And that's why you want to shut it down. And that's why she didn't tell her side of the story, because I do think we saw everything. You know, I think she did put seeds into Portia's ear, and then Portia was the mouthpiece and went back and spread it. And then she wanted to hide her hand. But you can't say things that are truly defamatory and that are truly salacious and libel, all of those things, and expect no consequences. You know, what she said about Candy could have potentially been criminal. You can't say people, you know what I mean? Like, you can't say stuff like that and expect no repercussions, especially if you don't have any receipts, if you're not ready to go to court, if you're not ready to do this, that, and the third. You can't say that about someone who has children, who has businesses, who has their own freedom to worry about, because, you know, so Phaedra, it's a missed opportunity, because I think Phaedra got what Phaedra deserved. And she can still read, she's still funny, she's still all of this stuff. She's definitely Mother Teresa on this girls trip. I don't know why she's fronting, but you can't say those things and expect no consequences. Miss T, I don't believe Brooke got nothing in the divorce. Woo! See, I don't know. Like, I agree with you. Like, something doesn't add up. How do you get nothing from the husband but money from the boyfriend? That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't add up. And also, like, didn't she, oh, you know what? And didn't she say that she's trying to do, like, the all-inclusive salons in Dubai? Like, you can get your hair done, you can get your nails done, you can get your facials for, like, all skincare and all that stuff. And that her ex-husband was investing, and then her ex-boyfriend was building or something. Didn't she say something like that? Brooks, the math ain't mathin', Brooks. Something is off. Something is off. The math ain't mathin', Brooks. Something is very off. Like, I'm confused. Because if you really got nothing from your husband, why are you going into business with him? From your ex-husband, why are you going into business with him? If I'm married to a man, bear his child, we divorce, and I get nothing, on what planet do I go into business with him later? See? Thank you for that comment, Miss T, because it's not making sense now, is it? I'm not going into business with a man who left me with nothing and his child. Exactly. The math isn't mathing, sweetheart. And how much, like, for the lifestyle, that's all from her just flipping real. See, Hey, Miss T, Sarah is very grounded. She is. I really like Sarah. I feel like of all the girls, I would be friends with Lisa and Sarah. Those are my two favorites. Oops. Hey, Chanel. Hey, Miss T. Chanel definitely does the most, and her husband's face says it all. Yeah. And can we talk about how she keeps talking about the origin story of her and her husband, how he bought her for $1,000? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not funny, but it's kind of funny. She talks about like, first of all, like, why was her husband in Africa? She's from Kenya, right? I think she's Kenyan. Why was he in Africa? Was it like a school trip? Was it a safari trip? Was it a like, why? Like, I'm confused. And it's not like they're still paying for people. Like, to me, that's almost like not slavery, but kind of like, oh, I gave your family money so I could take you. I'm sorry. I mean, that's nothing. I can't. I can't. With Chanel, I can't. Like, literally, you're like, my husband bought me. I can't. I just can't. Miss T, Phaedra definitely wants on a show anyone. She does want on a show. She wants back. Miss T, yes, Brooke wants to open up a hair salon and sell units. I wouldn't buy until she fixed hers. Yikes. Fucking see, the math is not mathing. It's really not. Vodka says Brooks thinks we're all stupid. It seems. I know. It's like another. It's like when Phaedra said that she was like 3 months pregnant, but she was like about to give birth because she was trying to act like she was married when she got pregnant, but she wasn't. Remember, she was like she was like this far out. She's like, "Oh, I just got pregnant." It's like, no, you're about to give birth. Remember? That one was from way back in the day with her first husband, or I mean, her first child in Apollo, because I think she got pregnant out of wedlock, but she was trying to pretend like she hadn't. Miss T, Brooks looks like K. Michelle. She does like K. Michelle. She really does. I noticed that too. Baka says, yes, Lisa and Sarah, I like. Me too. I know, I'm over here cracking up because Foxy, no Chanel slander. I'm not into Chanel. I'm not. I can't get into her because you know what it is. She plays the victim a lot, and people who are always the victim, they're problematic to me because you can't say anything, you can't do anything without them being. I can't. People who are always the victim, it's too much. It's too much. But I will say this: I'm on her side when it comes to the whole. Did she wear a wedding dress to Stansbury engagement party? No, she didn't. She wore a long, cool train thing and like a bathing suit, and she looked fantastic. She looked great. She's a gorgeous girl. Her body is sick. She's perfect. Like whatever. Like she's fine. That was Stansbury's issue, not Chanel's. Baka says a mission to convert the natives trip. That's why he was in Africa. So he was in Africa to colonize, and he bought her for $1,000. Miss T says, I'm over Chanel being obsessed with her son. It's creepy. It's creepy. It's creepy. Like, there's one thing to be like, a boy mom and being close with your child, but what it sounded like, and I don't mean this sexually. When I say creepy, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say, I don't mean like sexual. I just mean like just boundaries and just creepy and just weird. When she was talking about how, if her son was like, I don't want to go to school, or if they just had like a day where the dad was away, she would like let him skip school and go to the movies and go hang out and go to the mall. In my mind, I'm like, why are you dating your son? It seems like she dates her son. And I don't mean sexual, but like your child's supposed to be in school and you take him out to go on dates. You're going to the movies, you're getting ice cream, you're going to lunch and you're hanging out, you're like wanting to like go to college with him. And like a part of me is like, are you doing this so much for the show? Like, is this like a shtick that you're doing? You're becoming some character, but it seems genuine and weird and creepy. Like, and like even her husband was just like, no, like let our son have his own life. Like I'm married, like we're the couple. Like you're married to me. Let our son go have his own life. It's weird and it's bizarre, and it's almost like she's dating her son. Like her son is her partner in life, and her husband. Well, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it, but it seems like her son is her partner, and her husband bought her for $1,000. All right, Ms. T, it's disappointing that Chanel isn't spreading the truth about things in Africa in 2022. Yep. Yeah, she has a very, like, talking about the goats and being betrothed to her cousin and being bought for $1,000 by, the white boy from Iowa or Ohio or Idaho, wherever he's from. No shade to wherever he's from. And that is a continual storyline about how her father beat her and all this stuff. And like, I'm not if that is her truth and that's what happened to her, I'm not denying that. But I agree with you, Miss T. She's on this platform, and it's a huge missed opportunity to really talk about the beauty and the glory of Africa, rather than sort of double down on these stereotypes and negative things, about Africa. So I agree with you, Miss T. And she needs to stop dating her son. It's creepy. Hey, Fox Accountant, are dowries a part of some people's culture? I understand that, like, I know that there's a dowry a part of some people's culture, but the way she presents it is different. She's like, "Oh, I was engaged to my cousin and my husband, and I ran away with the white boy from Idaho, and then when we came back, my family was mad, but he gave them $1,000, and now they love him." That's how she's presenting the story. So I get dowries are part of people's cultures. Dowries are part of a lot of people's cultures. But the fact remains, the way she's spinning it is, I was engaged to my cousin. We ran away. I came back, and he gave my family $1,000, and everything was cool. That's how she's presenting the story. So I mean, arranged marriages are a part of people's cultures. I know dowries are part of people's cultures, but I'm just saying how she presents it, that's the way it comes across, if that makes sense. Miss T, yes, at the tea party, Phaedra was so confused. Remember the pickle photo shoot? Not the pickle photo shoot. Okay, so Miss T says, what do you think about Carolyn said at the party? What do you think? Carolyn has said a lot of things. Do you mean the why don't you S my husband's D comment that she said to Lisa? Caroline Stanberry also has some very deep self-esteem issues, you know? Like, I don't understand why Caroline was so bothered. I mean, Caroline Stanberry was so bothered that Sergio was talking to Lisa. Like, to me, it came across really weird, and it came across really needy, and it came across as like, you need to be on my side, not their side. I actually thought, and this might be an unpopular opinion, when she said it, she was actually going after Sergio. She wasn't actually going after Lisa. But the fact that she brought Lisa into it made it derogatory and wrong, if that makes sense. Because I believe what she said was to Sergio, because Stanberry was pissed that Sergio was talking to Chanel and that Sergio was talking to Lisa. Because she was like, oh, you're with them, you're on their side, where's your loyalty, like all of that spin, right? So what she said to Sergio, she's like, oh, well, I hope she's gonna suck your D tonight or whatever. You know, being like, oh, well, you're gonna be with them, well, then she's gonna have to da-da-da-da-da. I think what she said was crass and rude, and if I was Lisa, I would have felt some type of way too. But I think Caroline was actually going for Sergio because she felt like, why are you talking to them and you're not on my side? But she still shouldn't have brought Lisa into it. And Lisa's like, I'm a married woman. Married woman or not, you don't bring another woman talking about doing all this, that, and the third with your husband, fiance, best friend, whatever the heck he is. It was just too much. Just too much. See, I thought her husband went to the Peace Corps to Africa. That might have been it. He could have been, he could have been in the Peace Corps. That might have been it. But it's still the way she talks about it, right? Miss T says, Chanel talks like she is still being colonized. I want her to tell us something else. Exactly. Thank you, Miss T. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's the way she presents the story over and over and over again. And it's also the way she praises him. It's almost like white savior. The way she praises him, like he came and I ran away and he paid for me and blah, blah, blah. And he's the only one who showed me real love. But my family, my father beat me and my cousin was going to marry me and we had the goats. And I'm not making fun of by any means or being disrespectful at all. I'm just saying the way she comes across, it is that white savior complex. And that's why I'm like, you know what I mean? It's not so much about a dowry or anything like that. It's the way she tells the story is very much like being colonized mentally, and the white savior complex. Like, oh, like it was so horrible in my life in Africa. Thank God this white person from America came and bought me. That's how she tells her story, if that makes sense. Miss T, what do you think about Lisa and her husband? I really like them. I really like them. And it's almost like not to just to compare just because they're both interracial couples, but the way Lisa talks about her husband and their story is so different. She really challenges her husband for them to be equals, and it seems more like Chanel defers to her. You know what I mean? And how like they met out in the club or whatever. It was cute. Like I think they seemed really cute, and I love that he supports her fashion line. I love that he, funds it and he lets her be creative. Not lets her, but you know what I mean. I love Lisa and her husband and her boys. I think they're super sweet. I love watching them. They seem super solid. They seem really solid, and I really like watching them. Hey, Ashley Withers, after watching 90 Day Fiance, none of this is shocking to me. Right. Hey, Miss T, why does Sergio come around so much? It's like I said before. To me, Sergio seems like Caroline Stanberry's ultimate fan. I think he wants to be Caroline. I don't think he's necessarily romantically in love with her, if that makes sense, right? So it seems like he really wants to be her. I think he likes the fame. I think he likes the money. I think he likes the Instagram. I think he likes reality television. I think he likes the lifestyle. I think he saw someone that he fangirled over and got her. Because if you even look at the way they interact, it's not like a husband and a wife, the way they interact. It's much more like, this is my fan who became my best friend. That's kind of the vibe it gives me. Hey, Foxy Counselor. Okay, so what about Sarah's parents being cousins? ... If Sarah's parents are cousins, then they're cousins. That's fine. Like, this is, it wouldn't be my cup of tea, but this is the thing. I'm not knocking the fact that anything in their culture, if it's in their culture for cousins to marry, that's fine. Look at the royal family. They marry like brothers and sisters, not even just the royal family. All across the globe, there have been people marrying cousins and people having dowries and people all that stuff. I totally 100% get that. I am not knocking anybody's culture. I'm not judging anybody's culture. I'm not. I'm just saying the way Chanel presents the story comes across like white savior. It's the way she presents the story. It's not the culture itself. It's not the dowry. It's not the cousins. It's not the goats. It's not any of that. It's the way she presents the story that comes across that way. And she said the story almost every episode except for the last one. So that's what I'm like kikiing about. I'm not laughing at the culture or anything like that. Hey, Miss T, what do you think about Caroline not wanting to sit with the family? Caroline didn't want to sit with the family because, okay, she didn't want to sit with her own parents because she has not dealt with her childhood trauma of feeling abandoned by them and not loved by them and not chosen by them because they put her in boarding school for all of those years. She did not have a good time at boarding school. She hated it. She talks about this all the time. She had a horrible time at boarding school. That's a big reason why she's so, very sensitive on the inside, but so hard on the outside because she's trying to protect herself. And she talked about being very angry with her parents. I don't think she's dealt with the trauma of feeling abandoned by her own parents. So I think that's just a whole mess. The reason why she didn't want to sit with Sergio's parents was because Sergio's parents, and it got out in the press, was like, we will pay you, Sergio, to leave her. You don't have to marry her. Basically, his parents were like, are you hard up for money? We'll give you money. You don't need to marry this woman for money. because Sergio is like 18 years younger than her, all of this stuff. They're kind of like, they're looking at their, and I'm not being ageist by any means. I don't care how old people are. If you're an adult, you're an adult. As long as it's not a child, do you boo-boo. But they're saying, from their perspective as parents, wait, my son is in his, 20s and he wants to marry a woman in her late 40s. What's going on here? So Caroline didn't like the fact that the parents basically didn't really approve of their relationship. So she was kind of being bratty about that. If it were me, out of respect for my husband, out of respect for my in-laws, I would have been like, yes, we will all have our tables together. We can all sit together. And then during the ceremony, graciously, oh my God, I have to go say hi to my friends. I'll be back, pop out, and do what I want to do. But I wouldn't so staunchly be like, I'm not sitting with them, blah, 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 and throw a temper tantrum. You know what I mean? I would show the respect. I would start them and to go on. I would show them respect. I would respect my husband. I would respect my family, and then bounce about as I want to. I don't believe Misty, Carolyn, Sergio want a child. Oh, no. I think Sergio wants a child because he wants to secure the bag. Because I did not know until this last episode that Caroline has the money and Sergio doesn't. Of course, Sergio wants a child because he wants that continual check. Have you guys been watching The Real Housewives of OC with Jen and her husband Ryan, whatever his name is? How he doesn't really work and she does, and he just takes care of the kids, and now they're getting divorced. Securing the bag works both ways. Sometimes women want to secure the bag to get a child so they can get child support. Look at Lala Kent. But then she quickly realized the bag was a fool's bag and there was nothing in the bag, and now she's out here trashing her ex. But it's like, you had no problem when you thought he had money. Don't play the victim now, Lala. The only reason why you're trashing him is because he doesn't have any money. And he fooled you like he fooled his investors and like he fooled everybody else. But if he still had the cash that you thought he had, you'd be right there beside him. Anyway, so I think he wants to secure the bag. Like Jen and Ryan, they're divorcing. But she's the breadwinner and he's the caretaker. So she's going to be paying him money. And from what it seems with Caroline and Sergio, it seems like he's securing the bag. She has the most money. She comes from money and she has everything she's doing. I thought he had money, but I guess I was wrong. You can get the child, get the marriage, because she even said, I don't want to get married, but he wanted to get married. Of course he wanted to get married. And now have the kid. 2 checks. Securing the bag works both ways. Men do it and women do it. Hey, Miss T, I heard Sarah comes from a very rich family in Dubai. I wouldn't be surprised. She seems like she comes from a lot of money. Like, generational money. You know what I mean? Like, she seems like actual wealth from a while. Hey, Sharon. She goes, I need to binge watch and catch up on this Dubai season. Yes, it's good. I like it. I like Dubai. Hey, Vaca. Yeah, Chanel presents it very weird, and she is proud of that. Exactly. It's not about the culture. It's not about any of that. It's the way she tells it. That's what's off-putting. It's the way she tells it, not actually what happened. Hey, Miss T. Jen is getting a divorce from Ryan. Exactly. And Ryan, Jen and Ryan, to me, is what Caroline and Sergio are going to be in 3 to 5 years. You know what I mean? I'm squinting. If anybody gets what I'm saying. I think that Caroline and Sergio will be Jen and Ryan in 3 to 5 years, where he's got the kids, he's the caretaker, she's the breadwinner, and then he's going to want to go and actually live his truth, and they're going to get divorced, and she's going to have to pay him child support and alimony. Hey, Miss T, Noella didn't get anything either from Herdiverse. Yeah, because, like, again, another scammer. Didn't it turn out that, like, he was fronting like he was, like, some big multimillionaire? I've actually seen his billboards now in LA. Either they just came up because he was on the show, or they were there and I never saw them before. What's his name? It's, like, weird, like, I forgot what his name is. But it turned out, isn't he broke too? Then isn't that why he like fled to Puerto Rico? And it's like he hasn't paid his taxes and all this stuff. Who knows? Misty, the Sergio has money, just not as much as her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But to me, what threw me was the fact that his dad was like, if you need money, we'll give you money. You don't have to marry her. And to me, that's kind of like saying you're marrying her for money. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what really, I was like, whoa, that's what took me aback. Hey, Ashley with theirs. She goes, Diana from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is 47 and her fiance is 33. They have a kid together and she's worth 125 million. Listen. I'm telling you, securing the bag goes both ways. You could be a man or a woman to secure that bag. Exactly. And we did the whole thing about Diana and how she got her money and how her ex-husband got his money. Allegedly, sure, her ex-husband is some big-time business financier, but allegedly they were also trafficking women, essentially. And that's where a big bulk of their money and influence came from. Again, that's alleged. Yeah. But and that's another thing. She's 47. She had a baby, and then she had that miscarriage. It was really sad. It's really sad. It's never good. Okay, what else? Did we miss anything with these girls? Brooks went. Oh, let's see. Hey, Miss T, Dirty Diana and her child groom. Yeah, I'm not child groom. Jelena A says, what? Yeah, Jelena. Listen, word on the street. Diana Jenkins did this book. It's called Room 23. And in the book, it's like, no, it's like artistic, whatever. In the book, it's like all of these like celebrities and very influential people, primarily women, and they're allegedly in like this room 23. They're all either naked or just in lingerie, very dressed very provocatively, right? And the rumors were that Diana was a madam, which is essentially a pimp. And so she would procure, like B-list celebrities, A-list celebrities, C-list celebrities, other models, other beautiful women for wealthy international businessmen. So human trafficking has many different faces, right? So essentially, she was selling these women, like their bodies and sexual stuff, to these men. And that this book was basically like a call book. Like, these are the women I have. Like, it was almost like a call book to that. And even in and I think she told on herself, because in episode 6, when she's talking about it, she says, yeah, it was so absurd. I can't believe it caught on. And to me, when you say caught on, it means like, oh, someone's onto you. They're onto your scam. They're onto the con. They're onto the truth. And she said that about the book. And I'm like, you slipped up. You thought that everybody would be Boo Boo the Fool, and you could make this salacious book of all of these naked people, and no one would get on that these are the women that you're pimping out to these men. And she's been tied to Hayden Panettiere, Lindsay Lohan, Jeffrey Epstein, Amanda Bynes, all of these people. And this is all alleged rumors. This is all out there on the internet. This is not coming from me. So I don't want anybody. This is not coming from me. This is all alleged. These are rumors. These are all, you can Google all of this. So this is not me saying this. This is all out there on the internet. And they're basically saying that she was a madam. She would pimp out girls, and not just the A-list celebrities, but other beautiful, quote unquote, beautiful women that she would get for these men for sex, prostitution. So, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And so they were saying that's really where her husband got the bulk of their money from. And that's kind of how she even met her husband. She was you know how it is, like you start out as one of the call girls and then you open up your own franchise. So she's worth a lot of money, but where did that money come from? You see what I'm saying? And again, this is all alleged rumor. This is all on Google. This is not coming from me. You can Google it, and it's all out there. Yeah, that's what I say that because I don't want her coming after me. Hey, Miss T, Lisa and her business. Stop. The dresses. I know. I think the dresses are cute. But one thing I do want to say is, are we sure that her brand of maternity is the #1 maternity brand in the world? Isn't that what she claimed or something? I mean, I've never been pregnant, but so I've never had maternity, but I had never heard of her or her clothes before this, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'm proud of you, Lisa. Do the damn thing. Hey, Miss T, Dirty Diana told us how great she is. ... Not. I know. I mean, do I believe the rumors? I do. But that's just my belief, my opinion. I think where there's that much smoke, there's fire. And that is usually how they did it. It's how Jeffrey Epstein did it. It's how Harvey Weinstein did it. It's how Bill Cosby did it. You know, they're all sort of connected to this like philanthropy and giving back and all blah, blah, blah. And they have all of these celebrity friends, and then they traffic the money and they launder the money, do all that stuff, right? Again, this is just my opinion. This is all alleged. I'm not saying this is a fact at all. But it kind of all adds up. Amanda Bynes lost her mind. Lindsay Lohan lost her mind. Hayden Panettiere lost her mind. And those are 3 of the top girls that they say that she had. Of course, she had hundreds of other girls. You know, you don't get to $125 million with just 3 girls. Let me stop. It's a rabbit hole. Hey, Miss T, Andy thought Dirty Diana was going to tell it all. Andy. Andy. Why would Andy think that? Who is going to get on national television and admit to multiple felonies? Who's going to, because if you think about it, if this is true, again, I'm not saying it's true, hypothetical. If this is true, human trafficking, definitely sexual assault, because I doubt all of this was consensual. Tax evasion, I doubt they were paying taxes on this. International, bringing the girls from country to country, that's federal offense, Interpol offense. Who is going to get on national television and be like, yes, you guys got me. Room 23 was basically my call sheet of all the girls. You're right. Me and my husband got all our millions and millions of dollars by trafficking women to rich men. Let's talk about it, guys. Who in their right mind would actually admit that? I think she went on the show the way a lot of people go on reality shows with that type of personality, that narcissistic personality, where if they think they're smarter than everybody else, they think I've gotten away with it this long, I will always get away with it. Because think about how many people have gone on these shows who have been criminals. Jen Shaw just pleaded guilty. She went on Bravo running a whole telemarketing Ponzi scheme. She just pleaded guilty. I'll still say alleged. I don't have to. She admitted to what she did. Teresa Giudice, Erica Girardi, a ton of other Grizzlies, they just were found guilty. It's these people who go on reality shows because they think they can outsmart the world. They think they're smarter than everybody else. And she clearly has that same personality type. That's why she said, I didn't think that they would catch on. Look, or she was surprised they caught on because she thought that she could get away with it. So is Diana the first alleged felon, criminal to be on a reality show? Absolutely not. Almost every franchise has one. Apollo, look at him. He went to prison while on the show. On The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Taylor's husband, he was fraud. He unfortunately, you know what happened to him because he didn't want to have to go to jail. He was convicted of fraud. Mauricio, how many lawsuits does he have? PK, how many lawsuits does he have? A lot of these people have ill-gotten money, and a lot of these people are criminals. Sure, it might be white collar, like that makes a difference. They're still scamming people. But a lot of people on these shows are crooks. And they have the personality where they just think they're above the law. And look what happened to Teresa. She actually got, what's the word for it? She got celebrated. People were acting like, oh, she's the victim, her horrible husband, and then blah, blah, blah. Girl, Teresa Giudice was not the victim. She knew her husband was a crook. She signed that stuff willingly, and she spent the money happily, in my opinion. So, you know, it's crazy. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Yay! Thank you, Miss T. Hey, Young Rich, this is a surprise, but hello, Miss Washington. I know. I know. I've been in the cuts, y'all. I've been in the cuts, and I'm coming back, guns blazing. Pow, 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 pow. Hey, Miss T, Dubai is missing something. I don't know what it is, but something is missing. I agree 100%. I like the show, but I agree with you. There is something. Do you know what's missing? The same thing, and why I stopped watching Real Love and Marriage DC. I stopped watching the show. I wanted to recap it. I wanted to like it. I don't like it. What Dubai and Love and Marriage DC are both missing is fun. It's fun. You can't manufacture fun. They don't have fun on these shows. There's no fun in it. That's what they're missing. And I think fun comes from genuine friendships and genuine chemistry. Then you have actual fun with people. Like I'm watching the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, right? They're having fun, and it's good to watch it, and it's fun. Real Housewives of Potomac, sure, there's shady stuff going on, there's drama, but the girls have fun. That's what these shows are missing. DC is missing fun. Love and Marriage Huntsville went so dark, I don't watch that anymore either, because it stopped being fun. It's missing fun. The girls don't have fun together. It's every time they get together, it's just, what are you wearing? Who said what? And it's very flat. It's missing fun. That's what it's missing. They don't have fun together. Hey, Miss T, Jen Saw said it wasn't her till it was. She held out as long as she could. She was just like, you know what? I'm gonna admit what I have to, deny what I can until the very end. Basically, I think her lawyers will like, listen up, Jenny from the block, Jen Shaw. Listen up, Jen. You don't cop a plea, we can't help you. I think that's what it basically boiled down to, where they were just like, you're gonna be found guilty, cause you're guilty. You can do 10 years or you can do 50. You can give back 9 million or you can give back 20 million. Pick a side, because either way you're going down. Hey, Young Rich, Dina is boring. Exactly. She can get arrested live on air and I'm still yawning. I agree. I think you mean Diana. Yeah, Diana is boring. She can go. Or she can be arrested for human trafficking. Allegedly. Miss T, Noelle and her husband too. Yeah, well, Noella got fired. So she basically went on that show and made a fool of herself for no reason. Because they don't pay that much for season 1. So you make the money, I think it's after season 5, unless you're like a Denise Richards or something like that. I want them for OC. They can, I don't know why Emily and what's her face are still on the show. Gina. Can we remove them from the premises? Hey, Miss T, housewives love helping the FBI and IRS. Exactly. Like, I wouldn't do a reality show just because, one, like, it would all be fake. Cause like my life is like peacefully boring. You know what I mean? Like I'm so peacefully boring that I wouldn't actually have any drama. So if I did have drama, it would all be manufactured. It would all be a lie. It would all be fake. If I wouldn't even want to do it. But like I don't understand how people. I guess because I don't have that personality type. Like I don't. I'm not a narcissist where I like defraud people and then think I'm so smart and brilliant that I'm going to outsmart the FBI and the IRS. You know what I mean? Like I jaywalk and I look around. I'm like, please don't take me away. Like I'm not built for this. You know. So I don't even know. Young Rich says Robin and Juan fraud pretending they get married again. No lies detected. That is a fraudulent relationship. Juan is living his best life, and Robin, I guess she's sleeping in. I don't know. Hey, Miss D, does the Housewives get dumb when the cameras turn on? They do. Oh, I don't know. They do 100%. Miss D says Monique is so toxic. She is. She is. She is. She is. She is. This is a thing. For Love and Marriage DC, I had no idea Monique was like that because she seemed different on Potomac. Was she on Potomac for 1 season or 2 seasons or 3? I can't remember. 2 or 3 maybe. I didn't realize how, and I say this respectfully, how wounded, defensive, prickly, demeaning, toxic she is. The way she speaks to Chris and the way she treats Chris, if he treated her that way, we would all be up in arms. All up in arms if a man treated a woman that way. So toxic. And the show to me just wasn't fun. If they weren't having fun, I didn't really believe any of the couples. I didn't believe any of the friendships. Monique was very, very toxic, and I was really shocked because I really, really liked her, and I did not expect her to be that way. I was really surprised. Hey, Young Rich DC is boring. I agree. Only Winter's interesting. Monique made Candace justified. Nah, Young Rich. No. We have to agree to disagree on this one. Just because Monique has some issues does not justify Candace's actions. 2 wrongs don't make it right. You can't say, oh, this person's toxic, therefore what this person did is okay. Candace still was out of pocket for what she did. And I'm not saying Monique is justified in violence, ever. You never put your hands on someone. If you're getting heated, if your pain body's flared up, you walk away. Do I understand it? Yes. Do I condone it? No. Those are 2 different things. I can understand why someone does something, but that doesn't mean that I think what they did was right. I understand why Monique did what she did. I don't think what it was right, but what Candace did was wrong too. Don't come in my face like you're my friend and then be in a literal plot against me about my family and my children, and don't come to me and then wonder why I don't rock with you. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You don't tell Karen the plot about taking down my family before you tell me, and then never tell me, and then look like Boo Boo the Fool why you wonder why I don't rock with you. They're both wrong. Miss T, will Coach stay with Jen? Coach is going to stay where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside. I said this before. Coach is the real MVP. Coach is the real, I think Coach had a plan the whole time, because think about it. Coach to me was the ultimate covert. He was the ultimate covert. He was like, listen, I'm in a marriage with this woman I don't really like. Do you think he likes her? I don't really think so. But he has this very nice guy facade. In my opinion, I'm just going to riff. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not saying any of this is fact. This is just my opinion. I think that Coach Shaw drinks. I think he smokes, and I think he definitely has side pieces. I think to the world, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he's in love with Jen. I think in reality, he drinks, he smokes, he does him, and he has side pieces. And he's been having it for a while, and he's been living his life, and he's been doing him. He was this lawyer, and then Jen got this fraudulent telemarketing scheming job that brought in millions of dollars in this fraudulent scheme. I'll still say alleged, but she already pleaded guilty. And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm a lawyer. My wife is literally committing felonies from her at-home office. Let me stop practicing law because now my wife is making all of this money, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Well, let's go coach some, college basketball. No big deal." So he went off, coached college basketball because he didn't want to actually be a legal person while his wife was doing felonies, and that was a smart move because now there's nothing to blow back on him in that career. It's one thing if you are a lawyer and your wife is committing felonies. It's another thing if you coach people playing basketball. Very different. I think he knew the whole time what she was doing. I think that he was I think Coach Shaw was like an Erica Girardi. You knew your spouse was committing felonies. You did not care because you profited from what they were doing. I think the reason why Coach Shaw is not going to go to jail or be charged is because he's smarter than Erica. He was a lawyer. He didn't put any company in his name where her money was filling into it. The reason why Erica is on the hook is because her LLCs, Pretty Mess LLCs, and her companies were used to launder the stolen money. So when you have your name on an LLC and you're getting laundered stolen money, you're on the hook. Coach Shaw was like, you know what? Let me stop doing my law. Let me go coach some kids basketball. Let me be on the road 365 days of the year, smoking and drinking and hanging out with my side pieces, while my wife over here commits all of these felonies and we get to live in these big houses and have all of this money. And to the world, I'm going to act like, "Hey guys, I'm Coach Shaw. Everything's cool. I'm calm and collected." Please. Coach Shaw is a real MVP. He okie doked everybody. He gets out scot-free. He got to enjoy the millions that she got. I think he completely has side pieces the same way I think Jen Shaw had her own side pieces. He doesn't have to go to prison. And any money that they are able to keep, I know she has to pay $9 million restitution, he gets to enjoy while she's in jail for how long she's going to be in jail for. Do I think they survived this? No. They were already saying they were on the verge of divorce before she went in. So you're on the verge of getting a divorce? Because didn't she say how like the whole family had to have some intervention and all this stuff with them because they weren't communicating and she was going off the deep end because he was out with his side piece while during the funeral and all this other stuff, right? Coach Shaw is the real MVP. He okie doked everybody. Okie doked everybody. Erica Girardi thought she was doing something. Coach did laps around her, literally, because he's on the hook for nothing but enjoyed millions of ill-begotten money. Plain stupid. Again, I don't believe in a coincidence. I don't think that you are a lawyer, happily practicing lawyer, who all of a sudden stops practicing law literally the same exact time your wife becomes a felon and starts doing all of this stuff. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't buy it. I don't believe in a coincidence. I think he knew what she was doing was illegal, and so he stopped practicing law so he wouldn't be beholden to it. He had his name on nothing. There is no paper trail back to him, which is why he hasn't been charged with anything. He did it the way Erica should have done it. Not that you should do any of this at all, but that's why Erica is liable, because they were funneling money to her LLC. Amos D. Dirty D is one season flop. Yeah, I hope so. They can miss me with her. Hey, Young Rich, I like Noella on the show. They should have brought her back. I wasn't going to watch, but since Tamara's coming back, I might take a peek. Yeah, I'm going to take a peek. Tamara's coming back, and I think Vicky might be a friend of if she decides to be, but I know Vicky really wanted the orange. I know Vicky, and I think she's fantastic, and I want her to come back. Hey, Ashley, she goes, did you hear that Phaedra might be a friend of next season on Dubai? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's why they, like, sprinkled her in, but I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's like the right show, if that's the right fit. We'll see. It just seemed really forced, and it really seemed like Carolyn Brooks was fanning over Phaedra than anything else. And it's like, I don't like to see the fangirling. Like, you're both on a show. Well, actually, Phaedra isn't even on a show yet. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. Hey, Misty. Oh, see, it'll be interesting now that Tamara is back. Emily isn't ready. Tamara, to me, I think Tamara lied about the Denise thing, but I'm excited for Tamara to come back and rip, and I hope it's Emily and Gina, because I can't stand either one of them. I really can't. I really, really can't. I really can't. Hey, Rich. Phaedra don't need to come to nobody else's show unless you come out and tell what happened on season 9 with Candy. Exactly. We need a town hall. Andy Cohen, are you listening? We need a town hall with Phaedra. We need a 1 hour Watch What Happens Live with you and Phaedra. A town hall tell all. Yes. Hey, Miss T. Robin couldn't get picked for Girls Trip 3. It will be interesting to see her sidekick. What's her name? Giselle? See, I can't remember these people's name. It will be interesting to see Giselle on her own without Robin. I think we all wanted to see Robin without Giselle. But, you know, we'll get what we can get. Hey, young Rich, Monique can't carry a sew. She basically exposed herself like Portia. Ooh. Yikes. Miss T says 2.5 seasons. Miss T, DJ and Ashley made me laugh. Hey, young Rich, I feel like Monique was just being thirsty and tearing down her own marriage to build the show off the ground, and it was a mess. You see, the thing is, the saddest part is I think that's actually how she is. I think that's actually how it is. And that was the saddest part, and that was cringy, and that was really hard to watch. Like, the way she just criticized him, the way she berated him, the way she emasculated him was horrible. And to me, Chris really seemed like a great dad and a great husband and a great man. He stood by her. He had her back. He has. You know what I mean? It's almost just like, I'm just so confused. So confused. Hey, Miss T, why are love and marriage always have 3 couples and 1 single lady? Well, I think with DC, I think they got the okie doke, right? Because wasn't the single lady turned out to be Winter, but she was supposed to be she was supposed to be married to that guy. What I think happened with Winter, she's the one who's shaved half her head, right? I'm talking about her. I hope that's Winter. Anyway, I'm talking about the one who shaved half her head. I think what happened with her, I think she's a scammer that got scammed. Again, this is just alleged. This is me riffing off of like the 3 episodes I actually watched. I think Winter and whatever guy she was supposedly married to, Eric or something like that, I think they pulled a Tiffany and Big Lou on Love and Marriage Huntsville. They did their whole little like staged quickie marriage in order to be like, we're married, we're great for the show. Where if it had not been for the show, would they have actually gone through with the marriage, right? I think that Winter and that guy got together and they're like, maybe they probably were dating. Maybe they were dating, maybe they were whatever. And again, I'm just riffing, you guys. They were dating and they're like, oh, we have opportunity for the show, but we'll only get cast if we're married or whatever. Let's do this quickie marriage. And then I think that once she got married to him and then she found out that he was actually a real scammer or things weren't what they want, she kind of lost her mind, shaved her head, and realized that she was a scammer who got scammed. I think they got together to scam the show, to act like they were a couple, because her story doesn't add up. Math doesn't math. You got married to a man in COVID, but you had never seen where he lived. Like, it didn't make sense. You know, it was like a super quick. You never saw where he lived, yet you got married to him. None of it made sense. None of it made sense. I mean, I think she's the scammer that got scammed. She was like, oh, let's get married for the show. And then it turned out he actually was a real scammer. And she's like, wait a minute, this is more than I bargained for. I was just looking for my 15 minutes. Hey, Young Rich, what do you think about Sheree and Martell becoming lovers? More power to them. That I'm not hating on that couple. I'm really not. I'm really not. More power to them. You know what? They're both single. They're both healthy. They're both adults. Do you? Do you? I really have nothing to say about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get the big problem with that. If they want to knock the boots, if they want to become lovers, if they want to do their thing, let them do the damn thing. Who cares? At least he's here and not in jail. Miss T, did you just make Coach Shaw Barney? Miss T, Coach didn't want to film for this season. That's why he only made a few appearances. Yeah. Oh, no. Coach Shaw is no, trust me, Coach Shaw literally was the biggest MVP, the biggest covert. He had the biggest come up. Oh, baby, you want to go out here and make these millions? I know you're doing it feloniously. Let me quit my day job as this lawyer. Let me go coach people in basketball, these college kids, while I go out here and do me with whoever I want to do me with. You know what I mean? And honestly, with Coach Shaw, just, be yourself. Be yourself. Miss T, Jesus Jug is coming back to the OC. Yeah, she is. She was like, I'm getting my orange back if I have to lie about Denise Richards. I really think she was lying because that didn't make sense. Hey, Young Rich, OC need more than one girl that can bring it. Tamara isn't going to be enough. I mean, I agree. I think Tamara will be great, but it will be a little bit of like repeat. Like we've seen Tamara with Heather. We've seen Tamara with Shannon. Let's see what happens with Gina and Emily, but we need fresh blood. I think that they were right to get rid of Jen. I kind of wish they kept Noella. She was just enough quirk, and she was the only one that would really stick it to Heather. But I do think they need somebody else. Missy, Chris looks beaten down. Yeah. Yeah, because we have to remember that, and I'm not saying this is Monique, I'm just saying in general, women can be narcissists. Women can be abusive, verbally, mentally, and emotionally. Women can be the aggressor. Women can be the one in a relationship that puts another person down, criticizes, berates them, embarrasses them, particularly in public and also in private, so, yeah. Hey, Miss T, Monique and Chris could hire help. I don't understand what the problem is. I know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I felt so bad. I think the last episode I watched was the one where he was supposed to write the letter for therapy, and she just was not listening to him. He was like, I wasn't really sure what the assignment was. She's like, oh, you just didn't think it was important. And like would not even listen to, and it was just like, I just felt so bad for him. Hey, Miss T, yes, Winter shaved her head very poorly. Because she was a scammer who realized she got scammed. Miss T, Winter definitely is not a relationship coach. I know. Just making up stuff. Sorry, guys. Miss T, Winter had to know he was living in the basement. That part. Either she knew about his financial situation and now she's pretending like she didn't, or she jumped in it so quickly she didn't verify. And now she has to sort of explain why she married someone who she was never even in his place, right? Miss T, sign my divorce papers. Exactly. Hey, Young Rich, Winter's ex-husband looked creepy. He looked creepy as hell. Young Rich, not in jail. Was that shade to Tyrone? Yes, it was shade to Tyrone. Who else? You had to call Tyrone. Miss T, Jenny Meredith were definitely getting it in NYC. Jenny and Meredith, yes, they were definitely getting it NYC. And that's why Lisa was off the deep end. She was like, oh, so because I don't think Lisa knew that Jenny and Meredith were off dipping it and doing it, dropping it, and busting it all out all over the place. So Lisa had been defending Jenny, but then Meredith against Jen, and then it turned out it was the truth. And I think that was the beginning of the end of their friendship. Miss T, the nickname Jesus Jugs also comes back to OC. Yeah, exactly. That's why we had this cast before. We need something fresh for OC. I agree 100%. Are you watching Married to Medicine or Rolla? I am not. I couldn't get into Rolla. I didn't even watch the first episode. I couldn't get into it. Like Kenya and everybody, like I can't do it. And Married to Medicine, the way they did, you guys have heard me know this. I am so team Mariah. The way they did Mariah is so dirty, and I can't watch Dr. Heavenly. It's to a point where I can't stomach it. I can't watch Dr. Heavenly, and what's the other one's name? The really, really thin one, the really super skinny one. She's really hard to watch too. So no, I'm not watching Married to Medicine or Rolla. But I'm doing Dubai, Beverly Hills, and Ultimate Girls Trip. Those are my shows. All right, you guys. Anything else we want to talk about? Dubai or Housewives or anything else? If not, we can wrap it up. Ooh. Young Rich says, it's a Dr. Heavenly takedown this season. It is? If it's a Dr. Heavenly takedown, I might give it 1 or 2 episodes then, because I would revel in that. I would revel in it. Again, I don't know any of these people personally. But just what I see, Dr. Heavenly, I couldn't take it. So if it's her takedown, also because she tried to like single black female Mariah. Like I was seeing the promos and I was just like, is Dr. Heavenly trying to morph into Mariah with like the liposuction and the blonde wig and the surgery she got in her face? Allegedly. It was like single black female trying to turn into Mariah. It was just bizarre. Miss T says, Jackie, yeah. I used to like Miss Jackie, but she got cringe. I hope not Dr. Jackie. She's so sweet. I don't know. The way she treated Buffy, I thought was really bad. And then the fallout she had with her bestie. Hey, Miss T, what do you think about Dorinda? Oh, Dorinda. Oh my gosh. Miss T says, next episode they're having an intervention for Dr. Heavenly. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna watch Married to Medicine now. Thank you for letting me know, because I was like, I can't. I literally stopped watching the show because of her. So if they're putting her in her place and there's going to be an intervention, then I'll watch. You guys, not getting excited, my girl getting taken down this season. Now, wait a minute, Miss Kitty. Young Rich, I know you stand for Dr. Heavenly, but you know I don't. I think she's mean. I do. I think she's really mean. Like the things she says to people, like it's just, there's a reason why they're doing an intervention. Right? Isn't there a reason why they're doing an intervention? I guess. I hope. I don't know. Whew, you guys. Miss T, I saw your question about Dorinda, but we will do that on tomorrow. I will do a Real Housewives girls trip recap. And I will talk all about Dorinda because I'm back, you guys. I got all my stuff done. And I'm excited about reality again. So let's do it. Let's do the damn thing. So thank you guys for joining me. As always, if you have had fun hanging out and just kikiing, again, everything is alleged. It's just for fun. It's just for shits and giggles and laughs. It's just for a good kiki. Youngray says it's because of her YouTube channel, something that she said. I believe it. Vodka says Heavenly is terrible and I can't watch that show either. Exactly. Exactly. Miss T says the whole cast is upset about Dr. Heavenly talking about all of it. Thank you. Guess who's vindicated? Miss Candy. Me. I'm vindicated. Yes. I'm telling you, Dr. Heavenly, she's mean. She's mean-spirited, and she's nasty, and she's hurtful on purpose. And you know what it is about Dr. Heavenly? She says things that she knows is going to hurt you. That's what makes me sick by watching her. She's not a type of person who says something and it's like, oh, that was really hurtful. Why would you say that? And you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, like whatever. And like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. What I said was wrong and shady, but I'm so sorry. You see her evil wheels turning in her head. She says to you what she knows is going to hurt you. And that's what's disgusting. When people are intentionally hurtful, it makes my stomach hurt. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, Miss T says, please catch up. You've only missed 3 episodes of the season. Okay, so tomorrow let's do Married to Medicine. I can catch up tonight. And then let's do Ultimate Girls Trip. It'll be fun. Yay, I love you guys. This was so much fun. As always, if you enjoyed this kiki, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. I love you guys so much. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I love you, love you, love you. Oh, wait a minute. Young Grit says, I think you're going to be on Heavenly's side. Won't you see the situation with Contessa? Okay. Before I go, I have to answer this. I am also not a Contessa person. I think Contessa has a lot of issues. But it's like I said with Monique and Candace, 2 wrongs don't make a right. They both messed up. Yep. Oh, thank you, Miss T. She says it's great to see you tomorrow. I'm so glad you're back. Yes, I can do an episode too, giving out like what I've been up to and updates and everything. I don't know if you guys would care, but I'll tell you. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Yes, see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. See ya next time.